It was meant to be TV's answer to Star Wars, a spangly, silly intergalactic action serial that pitted stereotypical space cowboys against a cruel race of robots called the Cylons. Oh look, there's Dirk Benedict in happier times before the televised race war. The show lasted a couple of seasons before tumbling into the black hole of cancellation. Now it's back in a boldly reimagined form, and it couldn't be much more different. Lots of the story elements are the same. Mankind's still on the run from the Cylons, except now the Cylons aren't all great big mechanised bastards. Some of them have evolved into disarmingly humanoid form, generally sexy women, all addled up with religious fervour.
God has a plan for you guys. He has a plan for everything and everyone.
Starbuck and Apollo are still around, except now Starbuck's a woman and Apollo looks a bit like a cross between Tom Cruise and Michael J. Fox. While the original was a frivolous panto, the remake is incredibly serious, like a constipated newsreader. It's less about whiz-bang space fun than the politics of war and all the moral quandaries that go with it. For instance, the current series opened with the humans under Cylon occupation. Before long, insurgent groups sprang up, desperate enough to try anything, even suicide bombing. It's jam-packed with thinly veiled references to the current war on terror, covering everything from neocons in space to the treatment of prisoners of war. Anyway, having said all that, it's not bloody news night in space. There's still plenty of zap, pow, biff, bang, pfft. Some of the special effects sequences are downright stunning, haunting almost, easily rivaling the best Hollywood has to offer. The cast, as is de rigueur for most American shows, is almost uniformly gorgeous, which often makes people like me quite angry and bitter. There are loads of great characters, my particular favourites being Admiral Adama, who always looks like he's slept face down on a box of pineapples, and Colonel Ty, who's a sort of intergalactic Larry David. But my favourite character of all has to be the flip-flopping goody-baddie Gaius Baltar, who's just like Withnail in the year 3000. You know that fantastic scene in Withnail and I where Richard E. Grant pathetically tries to wriggle out of a beating in a pub?
What's your name, Matt? Fuck!
I have a heart condition. I have a heart condition. If you hit me, it's murder.
Well, that's Gaius, basically.
There are limits to the human body, to the human mind. Tolerances that you can't push beyond.
He's continually accompanied by Number 6, a beautiful Cylon lady who only he can see and who may or may not be a figment of his imagination.
Oh, I was just saying that Dr. Amarak had requested to speak with the president.
Dr. Amarak, I see.
You know, have you always been able to multitask like this?
Yes, yes. I used to work with him at the Ministry of Defense.
It says here that he's uncovered important information regarding how the Cylons were able to defeat colonial defenses.
I was always a little worried he was on to us.
Were you? Going to speak to him? Perhaps I should speak to him if you're busy.
Actually, as an ex-smoker, these bits always remind me of what happens in my head when someone lights up in front of me.
Sorry, do you want one? Oh, I don't really, I don't...
You want one, don't you?
No! I don't really know why people smoke those.
Those delicious, soothing cigarettes.
Shut up! Shut up the box of cigarettes and f*** off!
Anyway, it's not perfect. There's quite a bit of corny sentiment and the odd bit of jar-headed gung-ho nonsense, but overall it's well worth getting into. Although, if you do decide to get into it, for God's sake, start with the mini-series, which you can get on DVD, before ploughing into the seasons themselves, or you won't have a clue what's going on. You'll be twice as confused as this. Now here's US stand-up Doug Stanhope with his view on television. On television.
I like dumb television. I watch TV to go to sleep because I got a head that just won't shut the fuck up. It's just constantly going. So, yeah, I'll put on television at night just to shut my own head up. You get a nice voiceover from the History Channel or Discovery. There's that monotone, and that calms my head. As Hitler's blitzkrieg raged across Germany, we have footage of bulldozers. And you go, ah, I can sleep. You guys started all that reality show dog shit. The Pop Idol, and that all came from Survivor and Big Brother. It all came from Europe. And we have American Idol. It's like they use you guys as guinea pigs for a lot of these reality shows. They came from here. Like, even American Idol sucked. You wouldn't listen to those songs if they came on by the original artist in your car. You couldn't kick the knob off your radio fast enough. As long as they make it into a competition, people watch it so they can get a vicarious win without taking a chance. You wouldn't watch opera, but if they made Battle of the Operas, you'd pick an opera and you'd hope that other faggy opera lost. Fuck your opera. Your opera sucks. Give me the phone, honey. I'm going to call that 900 number. Get my opera in the back on there. People don't do anything for themselves anymore. You just much rather watch someone else do shit. You know, all these television shows that are like work related, like Monster Garage and American Chopper, and you're just gonna watch him work. You're watching someone else's shitty job. They used to have freak shows where if you were born with 10 heads or you had like webbed legs, they'd put you in a circus and they'd put you on a hay bale and people could look at you through a knothole for a quarter. But at some point they decided that was wrong. So instead, if you're a freak of nature, you go on all the daytime talk shows and the Oprahs and the Maury Povich or whatever. They put some harpsichord music behind you and then it's an inspirational story. What does that inspire me to do? This is sad. It's depressing. It just makes me afraid to leave the house. Like, I watch TV just to hate what I'm watching, as though there's not enough stuff in my actual life to go out and hate. Like, this show is a show about television, complaining about television, so you can sit there watching television going, yeah, he's right, I hate television. It's a good show. Ridiculous. Nobody does anything anymore. Fucking failing species.
It might seem like anything goes on modern TV, but most of the time the guidelines aren't really tested at all.
Oh, look at the pretty hippopotamus. Anyway, next on BBC One, doily time. Ooh, that's a lovely doily. That's also a lovely doily.
Yes, the vast majority of what's broadcast is so soporifically entrancing it takes something really shocking to make you sit up and take notice. In the bleakly satirical 1976 movie Network, a TV news anchor causes a sensation after losing his mind and announcing his intended suicide on air.
Since this show was the only thing I had going for me in my life, I have decided to kill myself.
So what'd she say?
I'm going to blow my brains out right on this program a week from today.
But instead of blowing his brains out, he becomes the nation's biggest celebrity, a furious, ranting lunatic who cuts through all the bullshit and puts his finger on the suppressed rage and dissatisfaction of his audience.
I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore! I'm mad as hell! I'm not going to take it anymore!
And the effect on that audience is devastating, at least in the short term. Naturally, the execs, cheered by the ratings, quickly package him up as TV's Mr. Dangerous.
How do you feel?
And he doesn't change the world, he becomes just another TV show. The audience eventually gets bored and melts away. Network was chillingly prophetic and more relevant today than on its original release, because now there's more TV than ever. And this sheer quantity is the final problem, because the moment anything with any truth or life or quality manages to somehow break through the ceaseless parade of mediocre on-screen bumwash, seconds later it's replaced by something else. And something else. And something else. And something bloody else. Watch the box for any length of time, and trying to retain the actual sense of what you've seen is like trying to read a book at an idiot's party. Ultimately, even something as worthy and harrowing as The World at War is reduced to the level of just another Justin Lee Collins vehicle, simply by virtue of appearing on TV in the first place. Alright, I'm JLC and I'm here to show you some of my favourite bits from the heart-rending documentary The World at War. Why does people fight with guns? It's a world at war. Right, the Second World War, it was an absolute right bloody mess. Look at it, it's absolutely bloody mental. Bombs all over the place, what a palaver. It was all these buggers' fault, the Nazis, nasty buggers. Ooh, oh, look at him, he's hard. Think he's called Hitler. Oh, bad times. So, what have we established? Well, that TV is a hypnotic, overbearing, desensitising and ultimately bewildering force for shit that makes unthinking slaves of us all. But never mind, eh? Hooray for telly! Woo, yeah! Woo!
Woo! Hooray! Yeah! Bloody telly!
On next week's show, why video games are better than telly. Plus, television ratings, what are they? No, really, what are they? How accurate are they? Are they accurate? Do they add up? Do they? And those funny little boxes that measure them, are those safe in the household, you know, with children sitting around them? Or are they not safe? Might they explode unexpectedly? If you know anyone with a ratings box, tell them they must watch next week's show or their house might end up like this. Go on, call them now and tell them to tune in next week for f***'s sake!